Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Milpark Business School information session of April 2021. We welcome you here, as Kobus usually says, to our virtual auditorium. We are so glad that you have joined us here. Today I have with me Kobus Oosthuizen and Jane Usher, both of them doctors, of course. They are from the business school and they're going to be guiding us through this information session today. I'm here my name is Michaela, I should have started with that, and I'm here to make sure that everything runs smoothly. I'm also going to run you through a couple of house rules before we get started, just so all of you know where to find the lovely things on CrowdCast today. On the right-hand side of your screen, you will see there is a chat box. Hello, if you spotted that. Tell us how you're doing today. At the bottom of your screen, there is a poll section and an ask a question section. So if you want to interact with the polls, they are live and available there. We have asked some general questions, like if you want to get in contact with us, how may we contact you? And of course, would you like a copy of our beautiful prospectus? And because I work in marketing, I'm going to tell you now, it is a stunning, stunning digital prospectus, and I'm sure everybody should have a look at it. So please let us know if we can send that to you. Also, the ask a question facility is available if you want to ask a Jane or Kobus, or of course later we're going to be talking to one of our alumni, a question, anything that's burning in you. You think, hey guys, I want to know this. Let us know there. Of course, we also have a lovely, and of course we're adding this out to the info session, Mentimeter. I'm going to quickly zoom in quickly before we get started. If you guys go to www.menti.com on your phones right now, you'll see that there is a code to be entered. It is 31244826. So I'm going to type that into the chat quickly for you. So www.menti.com. We are going to answer some of the questions later in the session. So if you'd like to know anything specific, if you want us to highlight that, it will also come up here and we'll be able to show you the answers later on, which is very exciting. We'll be able to see the answers live. All right, so without further ado, we're going to be handing over to Dr. Jane Usher, the head of department at Milpark Business School. Jane, over to you.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you very much for all the housekeeping rules. And we really do hope that you interact with us. I'd like to say good morning to everyone. I see there are quite a few people are with us. So thank you for spending a little bit of time with us, get to know who we are and what we do and why we are. And we got a very nice message today from Kobus on we've got a chat that we use to chat to each other formally. And it is Earth Day today. So that is really something that I think we need to bear in mind and appreciate that where we are and what we're doing and see what other countries are doing. So as I said, the session, we want to be nicely interactive. We're waiting for your questions, so we really don't have any set content that we're going to tell you, because all the facts that are there you can look at on the website and we can have a chat with you afterwards. So what I would like to do now is to hand over to our Dean, Kobus, just to give you a little bit of insight as to who Milpark is and what our values are and what we stand for. So Kobus, over to you.
Jane, thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. What a wonderful opportunity to welcome you to our information session on Earth Day, as was noted, Earth Day 2021, with this year's theme being Restore Our Earth. And as a business school, we and our students are also committed to reducing our environmental footprint and fixing the damage we've already done. So friends, Milpark Business School has been around for more than 20 years with a national footprint in South Africa, 2 campuses, one in Claremont, Cape Town, and then of course Melville, Johannesburg, with our offerings being the Doctor of Business Administration, Master of Business Administration, 4 postgraduate diplomas, 1 in Business Administration, 1 in Public Administration, 1 in Investment Management, and 1 in Banking. And then of course, as any other business school worth its salt, executive education, we have short courses, and finally consulting that the faculty members also engage in frequently. Now, we believe we provide quality scholarship in response to Management Education 4.0 and the world of work, and we are also a key contributor to ethical and sustainable business practices which are informed by the SDGs, or the Sustainable Development Goals. And our mission, colleagues, what my team and I get up for in the mornings, simply being to develop ethical leaders for the common good. And this mission, friends, is firmly rooted in our values of integrity, respect, excellence, and innovation. So in sum, ethical and sustainable business practices are at the heart of our teaching and research philosophy. Hence, we empower future leaders to pursue ethical and sustainable business practices informed by the Sustainable Development Goals. And, importantly, this reason for being is built on the Greek, or the ancient Greek word phronesis, which in English translated means practical wisdom. And that emphasizes not only the development of great business leaders, but leadership for the common good. We are very proud of our students' achievements in a wide variety of sectors and believe it reflects the impact we make as a business school. For instance, the most recent PMR Africa National Employer Survey on business schools offering MBA degrees in South Africa rated Milpark Business School second overall in South Africa for the 2020 rankings. And just to close off, we're also very proud of being the only business school on the continent of Africa with AMBER accreditation for both our contact and our online MBAs. So that's just very briefly a bit about ourselves, and I trust you will find this session informative, but also inspirational. Thank you so much, and I hand back to my colleague, Dr. Jane Usher. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Kobus, and thank you for setting out, I think, the ethos and really the reason that we're here, and the goals and the visions that we have for both ourselves and for our students who are part of, you know, part of society, part of community, and how they can make an impact. So that really, in a nutshell, does say what we stand for. I'd like to now also give you a little bit of information in terms of our faculty. We have a relatively small faculty who are full-time. So we have a core of full-time faculty who are based at the moment all over the place. We've got people who are going into work occasionally or sometimes every day. We have people based in Cape Town. We've got someone based in Cameroon and in KZN. So we are all over the place, but we are also a very close-knit faculty, and we work together as a team because that is what is the only way to get things moving and to support our students. So, you know, Kobus, who's our dean. Then we have Jamila, who is a fairly new part of our faculty, and we are so glad that she's with us. She's the senior lecturer for investment management. She is also overseeing the banking qualifications and investment qualification. She works closely with Stanton, who's our lecturer in investment and in banking, and he's based in Cape Town, and Jamila is up here. So they get together, obviously, via all sorts of online platforms. Then we also have Zakele, who is our senior lecturer for public administration, another one of our qualifications, and he is also fairly new, but I think he's already part of the furniture as far as I can see. Everybody actually becomes, you know, part and parcel of the team quickly. We have Mabatu, who is our program manager for the MBA, and she helps with the contact learning students as well as for executive education. So we're really glad that she's going to be on board with us soon. Nonhlanhla is our student acquisition advisor. So anyone who is thinking about doing one of our qualifications, be it one of the postgrads or the MBA or even the DBA, she is the go-to person first. She's got all the information and will help you understand what it's about and get you going. Amelia is based in Cape Town, and she's in the investment and banking space. Zelna is our academic administrator, and she does all the administration around the MBA dissertations, that when you get to your MBA or when you're doing your MBA, you will eventually do a dissertation, and Zelna helps you with that. Wongani is one of our alumni from the School of Commerce, so we are glad he's part of our team, and he's our sales administrator, helps to make sure you've got all the right documentation that you need to get your registration done and dusted, and so you can start your journey. We've got Mpumi, who is also an administrator, and she does a similar role, helps you get going, make sure everything's in place so that you don't lose any time in getting to the beginning and then the end of your goal. Masefako helps you during your journey where you've got any issues that you may need a bit of support or admin issues in terms of helping you with assignment uploads and that. And then we have Shameen, who is in Cameroon at the moment, and she is our program manager for the DBA. And so once you get to the DBA, she's the lady who gives you a lot of guidance there. We have Sean, who is our dean's assistant, but he's assistant to everybody, and he has done a huge amount of work as the alumni coordinator to really bring all of our alumni together and start participating. We've got a great platform that we use and that he drives, and it's really good. Then we have Yasmin, who is our student support manager, who oversees sales and support, and she, any issues there, she supports Nontlantla as well as Mase. Then Evelyn is our program manager for the MBA, but on the distance learning side. So she would be your go-to lady once you're in the program to explain everything to you and to be your support and to help manage your journey through that. Lungi is an administrator who helps on the academic side. So she makes sure that all the part-time or faculty or adjunct faculty are all sorted, that slides are done, that students with those kind of queries are helped, and she plays quite an important role there. Couldn't do without her. And we have, there's me, who I'm the head of the postgrad department. So when things are, well, hopefully going in formation, I'm kind of directing what's happening. But as you can see, I've got great team members. We've got Nazmira, who is a senior lecturer in business administration. We've got Dr. Frikkie Habst, who's our head of research, and he's the head of the DBA as well, and huge things are happening there, which is really great to see. And then we have Andres Ferry, who is the head of our executive education, and as Kobus alluded to earlier, we've got quite nice awards for that. So Andres is doing fabulous things in executive education, and that would be customized courses for companies, as well as online short courses that we do. So that really is a quick overview of the faculty that we have that are based all over the country. But our lecturers, who are our adjunct faculty, they're also based, we've got people from Dubai who are doing lectures, as well as Cape Town, and we are very closely intertwined and work very closely with them. So I think it's a very good way of making sure that from a student's perspective, as you start, you know that you've got a nice close-knit group of people who really want to see that you succeed and that you really learn, and there are just different aspects that come in through your journey that add value to both yourselves and society and your learning. So that is just a nutshell in terms of who our faculty are, and we are growing. We're still fairly small, but we have got nice new faculty members in, and that is good to see. Now what I need to check, and I'm just seeing if I've got any messages from Michaela saying whether we've got any how many questions we've got yet, but I'm sure she will let me know. I'm going to keep on. I'm going to keep on going and just.
Okay, we're waiting. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we do have www.menti.com with the code that's in the chat box. Let us know if you have any questions about the faculty, any questions that you'd like to ask Jane about our programs. Yes, Jane, continue.
Okay.
We shall soldier on.
Okay, no, that's fine. I've got lots to say. I can talk for a long time, as people know. That might be. But really, ask questions. That's great. That's what we need to know. So we're not going to tell you exactly about how many subjects there are per qualification, what you need to do. I'd like to give you a glimpse of some of the things that I feel, or that we feel, are unique about our program, and the MBA specifically, but as well as our other postgraduate programs that we have. So we have the Postgraduate Diploma in Business Administration, and what happens with this is you can articulate from that program into your MBA, and we have overlapped certain modules so that you already have 4 credits, 4 exemptions onto your MBA once you start your MBA, if you start with a specific program. And that means you get 2 qualifications, postgraduate qualifications, in 3 years. And I know 3 years may sound like a long time, but I'm sure you realize that it goes very quickly, and you're adding value to yourselves and to your work environment as you are moving through the programs. With the investment management and banking, there are also modules from those qualifications where people who are specialized in the banking and investment areas and sectors are able to move into more general management and move up via that route by doing their MBA. And there are a few exemptions and credits that are given for modules that overlap there. What we also feel is that in all of the programs that we have, as they are based on or take the direction from the Sustainable Development Goals, we do place quite an emphasis on community engagement, identifying who is your community, so that you can already make a positive contribution to society. And we have a specific module that does that and pushes students into having to work with communities and identify with communities. And on our postgrad, we also have a design thinking module that does a similar thing. Because community is, as I'm sure we've seen in the last year with COVID happening, community is incredibly important. And maybe we've lost a bit of sight in terms of how important our communities are to us, and we need to be contributing to them, because they contribute back to you. So the more you give, actually, the more you get. So, and that's what we want to do. We want our students to have an impact on society and to work with people in their communities, be it local or even moving into a national or international arena. It's an immediate application to your work environment. Everything you do, you've got the theory, you have to apply it back to your work environment, because otherwise it's pointless. Theory is great, but unless you can use it, it's not going to work for you or create that impact that we're wanting. It's also an integrated curriculum. So while you have discrete blocks, everything is finally integrated, and we expect you to be learning technical skills from an accounting perspective or an HR perspective, but then also those soft skills in terms of relationships, because how are you going to get to where you need to be if you can't make a team work or you can't work in a team? And I'm sure you see that in work all the time, where you work in project teams. So there may be people that you don't particularly see eye to eye with. You need to find ways of working with them. So your EQ and relationship skills, which are really needed in where we are in terms of the 4th Industrial Revolution, that is one of the areas that people need to focus on and to become good at. We want you to be able to use your own voice based on theory, based on scientific rigor, but then to make sure that you've inculcated your understanding and what this means, and so that you are able to use your own voice. And so the quality of scholarship in management education, that is what we also look for, that you get to grips with theories, you're applying it, and then you are able to articulate and use your own voice. You also get to evaluate local, national, and global issues that are in relation to 4IR and the Sustainable Development Goals. We don't have a lot of time to actually reach those goals. And in some of them, because of COVID last year, we've actually slipped back. So there's a sense of urgency that we feel that our students can go out and really start making a difference in those areas. And latching back to what Kobus said, is in terms of the responsibilities that individuals have, and then businesses also have, because individuals make up businesses. And what are those responsibilities, that responsible leadership that needs to happen to work towards empowering and making communities and the environment a better in any terms, in terms of prosperity and safety and security. So that's what we're wanting you to do. So they're quite noble goals, but our students are doing it. Our alumni are making a difference. We also want you to be creative and come up with imaginative solutions that are credible, not pie in the sky, but that are credible. So that underlying foundation, hard work that you put in will lead you to be able to become more creative, because we need to be creative, and that's another area for 4IR that we need. And then we also make sure that you have close support from your lecturers or your facilitators. We prefer to call them that, because they don't lecture you. We expect you to come prepared and ask questions. So they are your facilitators. Faculty is there for you, the whole of the MBS teams, and your peers as well. And that is a very important part for us, the cohort that you are part of. It may change and shift, but you will form relationships that go beyond your studies. And we've seen that time and time again, where our students have moved, they've even moved overseas, fortunately or unfortunately, but they are still closely related with the peers that they and their classmates, and those relationships that they built within their studies. And then we are, one of the other areas is to promote your development of your personal areas that you need, plus interpersonal and professional. But your basis is your personal mastery. How do you manage yourself? How do you relate with your peers and your lecturers and your facilitators and the faculty, so that you can be successful in that, and then in your professional skills. So that in a way is unique. Those are a few points that I feel are unique about the program. And as I said, it's not specifically in the modules, which we can chat about a bit later as to what modules you need to do. That's on the website. And but I think to give you a sense of the ethical leadership, trying to help to ensure that we live in an ethical and valued society for the common good, for everybody's good, is where our goal is, and it's interrelated and comes through in terms of the curriculum. So that, I think, is what I've got to say around what's unique. And I'm sure Kobus has probably got some other understandings of what that is, but from us as a faculty, it does keep us quite close as a faculty, both with our adjunct faculty, our supervisors, and internally. So unless there are any questions on that, and we can maybe go to that a bit later, I would like to introduce you to one of our alumni. And I don't know if she's, yay, there I can see her. So Lee has graciously agreed to be on camera, to chat with us, and it is really, really good to see you again, Lee, really. So just a bit of background, Lee was my dissertation student, so we were incredibly closely together, and I think some days she didn't like me as much as other days, and with feedback and that, but we did get through it, and Lee did incredibly well. So I'm very happy about that. So welcome, Lee.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jane. I really appreciate being here.
And you have graduated recently.
Yes, yes. I'm very excited about that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was a bit different to what we had envisaged, but you were one of the guinea pig groups.
I know, you know what, at the end of the day, just being surrounded by family and friends made it just as much more special in terms of celebrating that graduation. You would have liked to celebrate with your peers in terms of who've gone through this journey with you. But under the circumstances, we also need to take note of what the organization, but well done in terms of orchestrating and facilitating and doing the actual graduation during these trying times and trying to give us the best experience possible as well.
Yeah, so and it was quite fun, So let's get into some discussions and questions, and not putting you on the spot, but let us know kind of what skills do you feel that an MBA gives you?
So following from the program that I've undertaken, the first one that I'm going to say is networking skills. So networking skills in terms of being able to interact with different students across different industries, being able to engage with senior leadership who also provide some level of opportunity and guidance as well. And during some of the assignments, it prompts you to also engage with industries or senior business partners that you would have not ordinarily touched base with. So that really does provide some fruition. The next one, which Athel had reiterated during our graduation talk, was something that really resonated with myself, was resilience. I think especially during this trying time, you automatically become very resilient in terms of being able to manage your time, being able to manage your content, being able to manage your family. And this program also sets you and provides that foundation to handle it. It also gives you key skills, both from an academic acumen, but more importantly, how you apply some of this content to your current work setting. So it is more, that has provided very, the most important ability from this in terms of being able to take some of that content and being able to use it, apply it, and also currently improve some of the processes, operations, whatever it may be, and even the strategy that we have within my current organization. And really taking that to be able to say, you know what, I'm making a difference based on what I've studied, what I've taken in terms of my personal development.
Oh, that's great to know. And the impact that this has had ultimately on your life, first of all, and then your career, because I think it's both.
I think also during this period, you start off within a certain role, you're comfortable, you're very much in your comfort setting. But as you proceed with some of the content that has been shared through this journey, it also makes you question in terms of where are your Achilles heel, where are your focus areas, where would you like to grow? And that has prompted me in terms of taking leap of faith in terms of diverting or moving across a different area, something that I would have not normally taken, but complementing that with my current dissertation as well. So I've gone from a very much a business banking route to very much a digital platform route, which ordinarily I would have been quite threatened. But I think having the knowledge, the insights, and being able to be provided with the tools from a change management has definitely supported that journey as well. And from a personal point of view, it's also grown me as a person. I feel that I've become a lot more well-grounded. As Aristotle would have said, you know, the whole is greater than the sum of parts. And that's basically me. I think encompassing everything that I've learned has created a much more holistic person in terms of being more well-rounded from a business point of view, as well as being more well-rounded in terms of handling the challenges that life may throw at me.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. And what do you think from your employer's perspective? What would the benefits there be?
I think when I look at some of the ideas and the recommendations that I put forward in my organization, I'm very much changing from an operational mindset to a very much a strategic mindset. I think one of the modules that really culminated everything was the integrated strategy, and being able to apply those learnings from that integrated strategy module to my current work environment has helped bolster in terms of both my performance as well as improve what I bring to my current department from that perspective.
So you reckon it is still a good investment from a company's perspective, whether they pay or not, that's not, but the time.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? I had personally chose to self-fund this in terms of my path along this. And it was a big decision in terms of it. And it's possibly the biggest investment that I've ever made for myself, but it is the best investment that I've ever made. And I have no regrets, purely because what I come out with it, I'll be able to share not just only in terms of my work environment, but being able to look at it in terms of if one day I want to start my own business. It has given me that entrepreneurial mindset in terms of being able to unpack whatever I need to do and the tools that I need to do as well.
That's good to hear. So somebody who is thinking about starting their journey on a postgraduate qualification, MBA qualification, what kind of advice would you give to them now?
I think you need to find your personal motivation, because that personal motivation will become the catalyst to set you apart and kind of support you through this. And it's also important to note that this journey is not an easy journey. You need to have the right level of support in terms of either structural support from your company or from your family. And that is number one. Number two, you need to see, why are you doing this? Is it for personal growth? Is it more in terms of being able to provide a competitive edge and grow yourself within the organization? Do you want to grow certain skill sets? And I think it's where you start taking introspection in yourself. And sometimes we're too often outward bound in terms of looking at what's out there. And I think this provides the journey to do a lot of self-introspection for one as well before you start that.
Yeah, a good thing. And your support structures? How did you manage that?
So I unfortunately have got the luxury of being a working mom, and I've got 2 children, which is never an easy journey. And to start this journey has been, my child was 2 years at the time. So dealing with bottle feeds and nappies and trying to do the assignments at night has been. So definitely, I would say my family has played a pivotal point in terms of it, but also finding times that works for you in terms of that. So are you a morning person? Are you an evening person? And that allows you to effectively manage your time in terms of it. Because I think if you cannot manage your time, you will find that you will set yourself back in that regard. And taking personal accountability. So being able to set yourself personal milestones in terms of how much can you do within the time allocated, within the modules that you have. How can you make sure that you also balance that time accordingly with your family, balance that time with your friends, and also have a sense of life as well outside. I know a lot of people say when you're going through this MBA journey, you don't see anybody, but you have to make that. It's a personal sacrifice between yourself and being able to manage expectations with all of your support structure as well.
Yeah, because that can be a bit tricky when in the beginning they say, no, it's fine, yeah, we'll support you. And then when you're writing exams again.
Yes, definitely. And it's generally during these periods in terms of when it does get a little bit stressful in terms of from an exam period, and you've also got the work time, but it's how you manage those balls and how you juggle it with all of the compartments. And I think during this period of where we've been working from home and COVID strain, it's really ironed out in terms of and provided that balance to people in terms of what you need to focus on. And I think prioritization is key. If you want to focus and if you really want to get through What do you want to prioritize? How do you prioritize your day? How do you plan your day effectively, that you are still getting through the content, but still deriving value from the respective actual program that we've done as well.
So if you think about how, I mean, hectic last year was, that was just a complete, came out of the blue. Would you not? Would you tell people to wait rather? I mean, because we're still really uncertain. What would your advice be as to somebody kind of thinking about starting and maybe a little bit hesitant? Would you advise them? Yeah, what would you advise them to do?
So I wouldn't say hold back, because you know what? You never know what tomorrow may bring. So you live each day to the fullest. And if this is something that you really feel passionate about, don't wait for tomorrow, because we always know one thing is for certain is uncertainty. We know that change is happening. And right now we're facing COVID, and who knows what we're going to face tomorrow. So if there's a goal in mind, use this. Set yourself in terms of being able to grow yourself. And I think growth comes from so many facets, both from an individual perspective, from a company perspective, and all of those things help. I think I had initially started the journey. Milpark offered the option of contact and distance learning. And I was immediately drawn to the fact of the distance learning, because it accorded me the lifestyle of being able to manage my time with my kids, being able to manage the time with my work, and still being able to provide and give my 100% to my studies as well. And that was what made it so much more appealing.
Yeah. And being distant learning, were you able to make friends, or,
You know, you would be surprised. I think we had numerous group projects. And yes, there are times that you work better with certain members within the group and the others. I think one of the modules that we did was leadership and change management. And during that module also, it also underpins in terms of different leadership styles that you work with when you're working with different team members in a group. And it's almost that you have to adjust your style to make sure that everybody's voice is heard. And I can honestly say today, I have met some amazing individuals who I promise you I will have as lifelong friends, and I will take them, and we still keep in contact via WhatsApp. I think we've set up WhatsApp groups for certain modules that we had undertaken in terms of the group assignments. And till today, even though we've completed those respective modules, we still keep those WhatsApp groups in place, and we still keep one another informed of what's happening, both from a personal perspective as well as interesting content that is shared from a business perspective as well. So definitely the networking doesn't stop at this point. And also leveraging of using this platform in terms of engaging with us, we've then been able to connect via LinkedIn and also expand our networking community in that regard.
Ah, that is fantastic to hear. I like that. Then a last thing. So last year was hectic, and I mean, you were finishing up your dissertation, and oh, that was fun. All sorts of things. How are you now adapting? Because now you don't have all of this studying to do. How are you adapting this year? What are you doing?
So I think the fact that when you undertake this level of program, your thought process, when you first started, it initially is a little bit of an adjustment. And I need to let people know that, because you have to adjust to what suits your lifestyle and what works for you. And every person has got their own technique of working and what makes it work. But obviously, the actual program has made me very much investigative. It's allowed me to question things. It's allowed me to research. And with that level of thought process that I've gone to grow and love, and with a lot of the work undertaken during the program, that has become a natural process that I've still brought forward into my current set. So whereby I'm naturally investigating. If there's certain areas, if there's an interesting article, I still leverage off EBSCO and being able to understand and go through all of these reference articles and peer-reviewed articles to be able to understand what's happening and how can I support it better. Often when I have got tasks or projects at work, rather than going through the natural view of just undertaking that, I've tried to adopt some of those strategic principles of being able to do a situation analysis and being able to do a SWOT analysis and being able to underpin that. So that exploratory phase naturally feeds in to your work phase. And also, even though that component has stopped in terms of my MBA, I've now proceeded with different levels of programs. So because I'm going on to the digital route, it's now allowed me to expand from a programming perspective and being undertaking and looking at a whole host of programming institutes and international institutes that has made me a lot more relevant, and making sure that when I come out of this, my skills are relevant to the current society that we're operating in as well.
That's fantastic. So you haven't stopped?
No, not at all. And I don't think you'll ever stop. And I think growing, as long as you're learning, you are growing. And as long as you are growing, you are providing value to society and to the broader community as such.
Yeah. Well, that is really, really good to hear. I'm glad that you're carrying on, and you never know, you might be, doing all sorts of other things, but no pressure at this stage.
No, definitely. I said I'll give myself a break, but there's definitely a goal set of one day undertaking and expanding from the master's and pursuing the next level in terms of the doctorate. I just needed to balance and spend a little bit more time with the kids now. So
good to see. I'm really it's so great to see that, you know, women are doing this. You're getting the support, and women are doing this more and more. So we can see it in our demographics. And I mean, you are our proof and evidence that it can be done, and it can be done effectively.
And not only that, I think the support provided by the Milpark institution has been phenomenal. I think last year has been an extremely challenging year, to say the least. I was mentioning, you know, being able to homeschool the kids, trying to balance the studies, the dissertation, trying to adapt to the current work climate as well. So it was very challenging, to say the least. And being able to have multiple support mechanisms from Milpark, be it from the dissertation supervisor, be it from the actual program coordinators, the Zelna from an administration point of view was fantastic. I think you name it, there was a contact center if you needed anything. There was a support center if you felt that you needed to confide or let people know, or just have you that added level of support. Because what it makes you and what it also shows is that you are not alone. You know, being able to touch base with some of your colleagues within the same position who are undertaking the program, and being able to help one another get through that next level and push one another. And that was key as well.
Yeah, that's great. Ali, thanks so much. We really all appreciate it. And I can see you have inspired people on the side there. So thank you for the comment. That is really good. And so I'm going to let you go now, and hopefully we'll be in touch. Don't worry. Don't think you're off the hook with things, because we've got a few articles, publications we might need to be doing. So I'll chat to you about that. But thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on time and giving up your time for that.
No, it's a pleasure. And thank you very much to both yourself, Corbus, and the marketing coordinator as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Great. Okay, so I just want to check again with Michaela. Is there any other thing that I need to answer before we talk about?
Sure, Dan. So I see we have got quite a few people who've put some questions into our Mentimeter question box, which is great. Most of them are sort of operational questions like, how do I apply? Where can I study from? Fees and funding options. When does it start? So guys, don't forget that at the bottom of the screen, we have a poll live that asks if you'd like to us to email you a copy of the prospectus. When you do get that prospectus, we can of course answer any questions with regards to those sort of things, like when do I start, are there fees and funding options, and I mean, you've just heard from our lovely Lenstra on the student support, what we offer, and all of that is detailed in the prospectus. So just pop a little yes there in the poll, and we'll answer there. Jane, I think to go forward, if we can leap forward into your breakdown of the program.
Should I not do the questions quickly, because those are quite cool.
Okay, cool.
I like they're nice questions to
Sure,
that's okay. We can do that, and then so when to apply? I think now is the time to apply. We do have a second semester coming up, and we have opened applications for that. So my advice to you would be to get going now, to speak to Nhlanhla, let her know that you want her to contact you so she can help you with that process. For the MBA and the postgraduate diploma in business administration, there are a few things that you need to bear in mind and to do that. And I see someone has said you've got that they've got a BBA degree. Well, that is great. So you've got your undergraduate degree, and that will lead you to articulate onto the postgraduate diploma in business administration, if that's the route you want to go. And with that postgrad, it gives you a nice and a good foundation to move into a master's program. You do have 4 modules that you do that are actually on the MBA program. So you get those subjects, those modules as credits when you move on to your MBA. So that is perfect if you've got your undergraduate degree and you move into the postgraduate arena. That really helps. We see people do really well there. So that's no problem. To study further, yes, depending on where you are, Nhlanhla will also help you to see, where you are and what is the best route. If depending on the sector, you may be wanting to go into financial services, then, the BBA, that route with the business administration is a way to go. Or you may want to specialize in banking or investment management. That we can chat about. That's really not a problem. And you can still then move on to an MBA and DBA. So your articulation and your journey and path forward to getting to where you want to go is there, and it's quite a nice, smooth articulation. To say where can I study is also one of those things. At the moment, with our distance learning online, you can study anywhere in the world. We have people who are studying in the UK. We've got people in Korea, Canada, Dubai, China, Namibia. So further up in Africa, we've got students from Kenya. Some of them are finished already, Ghana. So you can study anywhere with the DLO option. You can study in America. So that is great. Depending on time zones, we would need to look at that if there are huge difference in time zones. But the support is there, and our distance learning online platform is really robust. It gives you that interaction, and we do have synchronous sessions where all the people in the class get together. You ask questions of the facilitator. They guide you through certain processes. They help you to unpack what you need to do per assessment, so that you have that level of support. You have, if you need your facilitator to help you with something, it's there on the platform. So our course pages and that infrastructure from a distance learning perspective is really good and robust. And the feedback that we've had is fantastic. And again, as Kobus alluded to earlier, to have the AMBO accreditation for this is possible. I see Amanda has asked if it's possible to do it through contact learning, not distance. It is definitely possible. So at the moment, what we have to do is we are doing our lectures live online through Teams. So until this situation is done and it's safe to go back into classes then do take place in the Melville campus, and we do it classes on a Tuesday evening 6 to 9 and on a Thursday evening 6 to 9 specific classes, and then when necessary on a Saturday there may be 1 or 2 on a Sunday as well. But then you have a timetable. So you're in Cape Town, that is a bit awkward to do it contact learning with us. So I would encourage you to have a look at the online, and maybe have a demonstration so you can see how that works and what the level of support there is, and just to look at that to help with it really gives flexibility. And I know it's a bit of a foreign concept to be doing these kind of things online, but the interaction and the talking is there. But obviously being Cape Town, it is slightly different, as our contact lectures at the moment are here. Fees and support, fees and funding options, I'm going to move on to there. So you don't have to pay everything up in one go. There are payment plans that we worked out to make it easier for our students to work through it and to self-fund, as we do know that there are areas, it's difficult to just pay a lump sum of 200,000 out in one go. Not many people can do that. And we do understand that there are financial constraints with with some of the employers who were investing heavily in support and training. So we understand that. So we put together really, really good payment plans for our students to assist with that. Then I see there's a question there that I actually can't see, Michaela. Our slides are hiding it. So
there's just underneath it says, when does it start? I think you've answered that.
Yeah.
And then right underneath it just says, it's from my side, I can press S to show an image. That was what the audience would have seen before they answered the question. There's also one that says, how long are the modules?
Yes, yes.
That would be a nice one to answer.
Yes, that's a good one. I wanted to do that. So we have changed the structure of this, where we used to have 2 semesters and every module would run at the same time. So you basically had 4 huge modules to do at one time. So we've now changed it into 10-week blocks for the majority of the modules. So you would do, say, general management, environment, and management accounting, and you do two subjects. And we've spaced them out. So you would do it over 10 weeks. You finish that, and then you move on to your next 2. So throughout the year, you're doing 2 modules at a time, and you can take 2, 4, 6, 8 modules per year. A few of the modules, like our social responsibility and environmental management, that module actually runs over 20 weeks. So you still do other 2 modules while you're doing that, another module and another module. So we've worked it out that you can finish your MBA in 2 years. So it really we've done it so that it is discrete blocks, we've just called them blocks. You do 4 blocks of 10 weeks each, and your dissertation that you do runs over a year. So we've managed to give you a bit more time to do your dissertation. So you do your research for 10 weeks, you get ideas on your topics and how you can go about it and what you need to do. Then you register for your dissertation in September, and you've got a year to do that. So, but in the main, there are 10 block modules, and so you don't have that huge pressure of all the assignments coming in at the same time. For 4 modules, you've got 2, and it's spread out. And we find that we've taken away prerequisites to keep you going. However, with that, you need to make sure that you focus on those modules, because we really are trying to only offer those modules at specific times of the years. But you can still carry on if anything happens and you need to defer a module, you would catch it up the next year. So that's how we've now changed our delivery, and it's working well. We've got nice feedback from students. So the feedback from students is what we rely on. So we rely a lot on that. Thank you, Michaela. I'll see you back.
Yes. So I think, Jane, we're going to move on to the lovely slide you're prepared for us. So let's just focus in on that.
That one.
There we go.
Okay. So really
Beautiful with the butterfly.
Yes, that we were talking about. So as you can see, we've got this nature theme going on because it is Earth Day and it's a beautiful image. So what I want to ask people who are on the session is for the choices that you're going to make, and this is a big choice, as Lee said earlier, it is a decision. And one of our other alumni, Mohammed Patel, who's also one of our lecturers, he said it is you need to invest in yourself, and this is an investment. So I want to ask you, think about, do you want to become an ethical leader or even more of an ethical leader than you are? Do you want to contribute in a meaningful way to society? And do you want to make our tomorrow beautiful? Because it's up to each one of us and to each one of our students to do that. So if those sentiments and those values resonate with you on a personal level, then I think it might be a good match. So
yes,
that is what I would do with. Yes.
Definitely. I'm quickly going to bring back Dr. Kobus Oosterhuizen just to give his final remarks. So quickly, just hold on a second. Let's see if Kobus is there. Kobus, can you hear us?
Loud and clear, receiving you 5 out of 5.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so we've just sort of come to the end of our session, Dr. Kobus, and I want to ask you, is there anything you'd like to just add to what Jane has said about our focus on ethical leadership and making tomorrow beautiful? Anything you'd like to add?
Oh, wow. I mean, it was so eloquently narrated and so beautifully said. I would do damage to try and to improve on that, but perhaps maybe just as a departing thought, on the question, why us? The ethos as the core, but also around that, to remember we are the only Amber accredited online MBA in Africa. Our 2020 PMR ranking for the MBA is 2nd overall in South Africa, 1st overall for executive education in South Africa. Our content, our curriculum that's contemporary and relevant, our experienced facilitators that come from industry, and we promote a learning environment that produces growth for individuals by impacting all 3 the modes of learning: the head, the heart, and the hands. And of course, for me and the team, our students are the focus in the teaching and learning transaction. And that is kind of how I want to wrap it up. And I want to thank everybody for attending. Thank you so much, Jane and Leah. It was a marvelous session, really inspirational and very informative. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're going to end here, but don't forget, guys, you can, of course, pop a yes in the poll if you'd like a copy of our prospectus. Let us know how we can get in contact with you. And again, thanks again to Dr. Jane and Dr. Kobus for your awesome, thoughts and for sharing with us today. And we really wish all of you on the call a very beautiful and happy Earth Day. Thanks so much, guys.
Bye.